Hello and welcome to this week's YouTube video. If you've not been here before, my name is Tracy Mayhew and I write contemporary romances and YA fantasy fiction. So, as you know, NaNo is just around the corner and October is Preptober in the writing world, which means we are prepping for NaNo. So for those of you who don't know what NaNo is, it is a month, November, a whole month where writers across the world try to aim for 50,000 words and get the first draft of a novel complete. You can be a NaNo rebel, which is something I'm still trying to decide on at the moment because I'm not sure realistically what my timetable looks like at the moment. So that's something I'm working on and trying to work towards figuring out this month. But I'll talk more about that later in the video. Before I start on some of the tools that have been helping me with my NaNo prep, I want to talk to you about my NaNo project for this year. A few videos ago, I did announce that it was going to be the third and final book of my Viking saga series. However, plans have kind of changed on that one. Firstly, because I really love the Appleford series that I'm working on at the moment with Not Just for Christmas, which I can announce it now, which will be out on the 31st of October. I picked that day because it's my main character Kate's birthday that day, so I thought it would be quite nice to get it out there on her birthday. I've not done anything like that before, and I thought it would be quite quirky, which kind of fits in with the theme and the vibe of the book anyway, because it's kind of like a quirky English village setting that I'm going for. So that will be out on the 31st, and I'm kind of so ensconced in that world at the moment that when I was trying to do some research for the third Vikings story, I was really struggling to get into that mindset. And with a fantasy, especially with the third and final instalment, I want that book to be perfect. I need it to be right, and it didn't feel quite right. So I thought I'll step back from that one for the moment. I'm enjoying the characters. I love the characters in the Appleford series. I really, really, really want to tell Carrie and Elliot's story, which is the focus of the second book. So that's part of the reason why I decided to change my mind on the project. But also, and I blame my cover designer for this, when I was designing talking to him about the cover for the first book, Not Just for Christmas, I was also finding ideas that I was sending him for the other books in the series. It will be 4-book series. And so at the same time that he made the cover for Not Just for Christmas, he gave me the covers of the other 3 books in the series as well. And I need to see these books out in the world. The covers are amazing, and I want the world to see them as soon as possible. To be honest, this is the first time I've kind of stuck with a series. Usually I write a romance, go back to fantasy, then go back. So I sort of alternate, and that's worked fine up until now. But with this series, some things just really clicked with me, and I just want to stick with this series, and I want to get this series done. So unless inspiration comes sort of early next year or mid-year next year, I will be sticking with this series until it's complete. And then hopefully in the background, I'll be able to start doing some research or writing down some ideas and some notes. I've already got lots of ideas and notes for the Viking series book. I'm not by any means shelving that project completely. That is another series I really want to tell, but I can't force myself to write a book that just isn't sticking with me at the moment, that I'm not fully immersed in. So I'm gonna put that one on the back burner for a little while, and then concentrate on this story. And already this week I've had some really good ideas for this. I mean, nothing that's kind of like gelling together into a plan just yet. I'm hoping that will come in the next week or two. But slowly and surely, this second Apple book story is coming together. So I'm hoping that for NaNo, I'll be able to just work on that and knock it out. Whatever I decide what my word count is, whether I'm a NaNo rebel or whether I'm a traditional NaNo writer this year, whatever my word count is, I'm hoping that I'll be able to just write the book and be happy with what I've written. So that's my plan. Let me know what your plans are in the comments below, and let me know if you're doing NaNo, and maybe we can buddy up on the NaNo website.
it's important to have buddies when we're doing something like this, because it's just we keep each other accountable. We encourage each other. If we're having a bad day, we've always got people that we can moan to if we need to. So yeah, let me know, and we'll see if we can buddy up on the website. So let me tell you now about a resource that I've been using the last week that's really, really helped me focus my thoughts, plan what I'm doing, get my head straight around NaNo in general, not just to do with the writing, because when you're writing, or when you're trying to write 50,000 words and in such a short space of time, and you're trying to reach a word count, you're trying to win that acclaim that you've done the 50,000 words, or whatever word count you've chosen, in such a small space of time, you have to be prepared in other areas of your life as well. I think I've been doing NaNo for about 4 years now, 4 or 5 years maybe, and I've never won the official NaNo. So I'm hoping this year I might win it. But I do that every year anyway, so it's not like, this year feels any different. It doesn't. I'm just hoping that this year I might be able to reach that goal. But yeah, I've won a couple of the camps, which is in April and July every year, but I've never been lucky enough to win the actual official NaNo. So hopefully this year is the year. So anyway, this is what's been helping me. I've spoken about heart breathing, Sarah Cannon at Heart Breathings, for a while in a couple of my videos, and every year she produces a Preptober planner, which I find extremely useful. This year it's bigger and better. I think it's about 95 pages. I'll be honest, I didn't print all of the pages because not all of the pages were relevant to me. And she actually says in her Preptober video that, just pick a mix. What you take, what you want, take what you need, and forget the rest. I'm going to link the video to her Preptober workbook. I'm going to link the video about her Preptober workbook below, so check it out. And if you are interested in downloading it, sign up to her newsletter, and you'll get access not only to the workbook, but you'll also get access to the whole of her resource library. And you'll find lots and lots of excellent resources on there for writers. I use it quite regularly. Every time I start a new project, I use her Plot Your Novel booklets as well, which I find extremely useful. She's also got videos to that as well, so go and check her channel out. So I'm going to run you through some of the pages that I've been finding extremely useful. Okay, so strap in, because it's going to be it might be a long one. So it starts with a little message from her and a inspirational quote, and those inspirational quotes are kind of littered throughout, so they're quite motivating. When you're feeling a little bit, like the day hasn't gone so well, have a look at those. And then she starts with a checklist. So this is on several different aspects of writing. So it talks about prepping your writing plan, so getting everything in place, like looking at your time, looking at your word count goals, the rewards you're going to need, and a meal planner. It talks about prepping your tools, which obviously, that's quite obvious. It's all the things you're going to need to have a successful writing session, whether that's making sure you've got all your computer charged up, ready for your session, for your writing session, whether that's making sure your batteries in your portable keyboard are fully charged, whatever that may be. Making sure you're looking after your health as well, because when you're writing such a frantic period, you don't want to be putting the writing first and your health second, because then that doesn't do you any favours, and it doesn't do your family or friends any favours either. So make sure you've got all the things you're going to need for having a successful writing session. My main one would be having my migraine kit nearby, because obviously I would need that if I start to feel headachy or anything like that. It talks about prepping your writing crew, so that talks about getting onto the NaNo website, signing up, getting some buddies behind you, prepping your actual novel. So that is, obviously that's talking about making sure you've got character arcs down, maybe character bios, all that kind of stuff. You've got an outline. She talks about index cards, like using index cards to map out your scenes. I don't personally do that, but it's on there for if that is applicable to you. Lots of other things in that section, world building, research, things like that.
And then she talks about prepping your space, so making sure that your writing area is clean, tidy, ready for the optimal writing session, so that you're not going to be bogged down with, oh, I've got to tidy up my desk is messy from last night or whatever. Just making sure that you've got everything that you need at hand. She also has some to-do lists on there, some shopping lists and some decision lists. Now, my decision list definitely includes thinking about whether I'm going to be a NaNo rebel or a traditional NaNo writer this year, because I'm not sure, as I said earlier, I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing at the moment regarding my word count. Hopefully, towards the end of the year, towards the end of October, I will have a better grasp on my time. So I'm hoping that come half term, which is the last week in October, I'll be able to sit down and then map out what time I actually have, and how many sprints I'll be able to work in, because I am a writer who does love to use sprints to sit down with and do her work. Then we've got, I'm still trying to get the hang of of the camera and where I should be placing myself. Then we've got the November time planner. This is like time tracker. You can work out using this. She explains it much better in her video, which is why I'm going to link it below, because I'm not going to do it justice if I try to explain it. I'll probably just end up confusing everybody. So let's leave it to the expert as far as I'm concerned. But that will be a space there where you can track where you want to take days off and how much time you've actually got. You can see the whole month then as like a bird's eye view, rather than in a diary. You can sometimes just see it as like a week to week thing, but that's just perfect if you want a monthly overview. And then she'll talk about working out your time, working out how much sprints you can get done in that time as well. Obviously, the maths there, that says 50,000, but if you're going to change the word count, you're going to have to, change the maths, change the calculation there, obviously. And then she's got a rewards planner. Some of this I haven't started filling out yet, obviously. My attention has been mostly to do with planning my ideas, getting my ideas down out of my head so I don't forget anything, because what with being ill the last week, and then having to go to work and everything, I've been like doing 1,000 things at once. So it's all about getting the ideas onto paper. I don't care what they look like, they're just scribbled notes at the moment, but I will then start filtering through and working out what goes where and how everything fits together, like a puzzle, really. And then she's got some ideas for meal plans, breakfast, lunch, and then on the other side she's got snacks and dinner ideas as well. And then these are the best at the moment. These are the pages that I'm using the most, and as you can see, because I've had to cover everything up because I've already written so much stuff in here. So this is where you get to really nail down what your novel's going to be about. So you've got things on there like a working title, the basic premise of the story, the main characters, side characters, a villain if applicable, the main conflict of the story and the resolution. And then on the next page here, she's got ideas for 10 possible scenes that you can use that will just get you started. As I say, I started filling those out as well. So, and then on the next page, we've got a working outline for your story. So it talks about your main character at the beginning, what are they like, what does their normal world look like. Your opening scene, you can start thinking about that, and it talks about how do you hook your reader, so you can talk about, you can identify what the main hook of that opening chapter will be. Then you've got a dramatic question in there, and lots of other questions that you can think about when you're planning your story, and it goes on. So for different parts of the story, it goes on and on. So it generally leads you all the way through the story to that final question: what has changed about your main character from the beginning? So it gets you to think about your main character's arc from the beginning all the way to the end as well. Which I've found, I haven't filled in most of it, obviously, but I know I'm going to find those pages particularly useful. So I'm looking forward to being able to find the time, hopefully tomorrow, or today, hopefully, when I can sit down and really get my head around those sort of questions for my story. And then she gets you to list your creativity toolbox. So what is going to help you have a good writing session? So she suggests things like treating yourself with cozy socks. My list is cozy socks, aromatherapy oils, crystals, being able to read Christmas books at the end of the day, having a bath, and having a cozy blanket for, you know, when it gets cold, because November is quite a cold month in the UK. And then we've got rewards brainstorm and emergency motivation. So things that will keep you going even when, you know, because the marathon, NaNo is more like a marathon, not a sprint. So you're going to have days where you're kind of really high, and then other days when you're not doing so well, especially if you're doing other things like looking after kids or doing a job and trying to fit writing in around all that other stuff as well, looking after relatives, things like that. So you're going to need a list of things that are going to keep you going when times are tough. Okay, and a reward brainstorm. That reward brainstorm is just like a little thing you can do for yourself, a little treat at the end of each day when you've achieved a certain word count, or if you've sat down to do any writing whatsoever. If you're not going to like box yourself in with a word count, I must do 1,000 words today, otherwise I don't get my treat. You could just say, I just want to do 2 sprints today, or write for an hour, and I'll give myself a treat. And then that will just keep you going. So that's something to consider as well. So that kind of brings us to the end of the prepping part. And then I won't be able to talk about this, because then the Preptober workbook goes into your NaNo planner. And there she's got like a word count tracker. She's got word count trackers. This is excellent. This is quite interesting, because you can do a weekly schedule which lists out your breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, and then you can list down all your scheduled writing time. So that obviously goes on for the whole month. And then she's got some pages at the back that lets you talk about your NaNo. So you get to reflect on what went well, what didn't go well, what was your best day, what was your worst day, your best memories from NaNo and things like that. And she also gives you a chance to kind of think about what would you have changed and what would you have done differently if you could do it again. So I think that's quite an interesting aspect to that book as well. And then at the back she's got word count trackers as well. They go up to 200 sprints, but obviously you could adapt that to your own. If you don't work in sprints, then you could adapt that to the way that you do work. So that's what I'm doing for NaNo. That's how I'm prepping. So I've talked about my WIP. I'm not going to give you any spoilers. I'm going to say it's about Carrie and Elliot. If you read Not Just for Christmas, or if you've been reading it as an ARC reader, you'll know who I'm talking about. And if you do read it when it comes out, you'll know who I'm going to be writing about. So I'm using the Heart Breathing's Preptober workbook to help me plan my Preptober and plan my NaNo. And I really recommend that. It's a really good resource that I've found invaluable over the last week or so. Let me know in the comments what you're planning to do for NaNo, if you're taking part, or if you're just going to cheer the rest of us on. That's brilliant. If you're not taking part in NaNo, again, let me know what your WIP is. We can talk about it if you want to. And I will see you next time for another video. So don't forget to like and subscribe down below. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and I will see you next week. Goodbye.